Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another Pineapple Bytes video training session. In this video training session, we're going to discuss a few things. The first thing we're going to discuss is how to create new table numbers in Aloha Manager, as well as how to edit your existing floor plan for the Aloha POS system. To create new tables, you're going to log into Aloha Manager and go to Maintenance, System Settings, and Table Definition. From here, you can hit the drop down and see a current list of all the tables that are currently assigned in your Aloha POS. See here they go up to 720 in this one. Let's say we wanted to create new tables 800 through 810. So we want to add in 11 more tables. So what we're going to do to create a new one, if you're just creating a single table by itself, you can hit New here. Manually type in your number you want the table number to be. So I'm going to put 800. Description is just going to be a description of where that table is located. Alternate name, always want to typically keep that as the same as the number. Revenue center, you're going to want to make sure you pick the appropriate revenue center assigned to that table. Style, you have options square round. This will directly affect when you go to add that table to the floor plan image, whether or not the table will appear as a square shape or a round shape. We'll keep it a square for this example. Number of seats, we can put in 4. Number of seats, basically what that relates to is when you have an option when you go into the floor plan editing, whether or not you want the table image to show seats or not. So depending on what number you put in here, the graphical image will change depending on if you have 1 seat or 2 or 3 or 4. I'll just leave that as the default 4, which is what I usually set it to. So that's how you create a new table. So now we have 800 in the system. But now let's say we still need to add in 801, 802, all the way up to 810. A quick way to be able to do that is click on our grid view button here. Highlight the table you wish to copy. So we want to copy the exact same settings as table 800. Click on the copy button over here on the right. Our starting number is going to be 801, and that's going to ask me how many copies of this item I want to create. So we're going to go ahead and hit 9 copies of this item. Sorry, I should have picked 10 copies because you can see here it created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It only went to 810. But what I can do just to make an additional one is I can copy 810 or 809. So I can click on 809, hit copy. I can type in 810 and just hit OK, and it creates 810 for me. So that's a quick way. So you can use the grid view to take copies of an existing table and copy it to a range of new numbers that you want to put in, or you can stay in the normal view by clicking back on this button and just adding them in one at a time. It depends on, what's easiest for you and how many you're creating. So that's basically how you can create new tables in your Aloha POS system. The next thing we're going to show you is how to edit an existing floor plan. So let's say you need to move tables around, or you need to reshape a table, or you need to delete a table, or you need to add a table or change an existing table number that's showing up on the floor plan. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to Maintenance, Screen Designer, and Table Service Screen Designer. From here, you're going to select Work with Panels. It's going to bring up this white screen here. You can right-click anywhere in the white area here and select Open Panel. And that's going to give you a list of all the different panels that are created in your system. So depending on which one you're looking to edit, you're going to pick that appropriate one. We'll use the dining room for this example. We'll select OK. And now it's going to show us an image of this floor plan. So this is exactly what the servers will see when using the front of house terminals. The right-hand window over here is basically your properties window. So this is where you're going to do all your work as far as changing settings for buttons and certain things like that. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure you do is You highlight the entire panel, so you can see here I kind of have the whole image highlighted. You want to make sure you go over here on the right and this mark as template, you want to change this to false. You want to make sure your fixed panel position is false and your fixed button layout is also false. What this does is it allows us now to be able to make changes to this floor plan as well as make changes to the buttons. If you left those all as true, you wouldn't be able to modify the shape or modify the panel at all. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your actual panel is set to mark as template false, fixed panel position false, and fixed button layout false. Now if I go ahead and I click on one of these tables, it's going to highlight that table. If I just left click and hold it in, I can drag this item around. So I can move it around where I need to be. So if you need to move a position of a table, you just simply left click and drag that to where it needs to go. You also see that around the image here, we have some kind of buttons that you can grip onto. So you see here, you show little arrows there, or you got here, you show arrows there. This allows you to resize that table. So if depending on what you want to do, like let's say we want to make this one bigger, we can just go to the corner here so the arrow shows up, and then left click and drag it, and it makes that button bigger. It's the same thing if you need to make it smaller. You can go here, same thing, and you just click and drag it back in. If you want to make it skinny, you can go to one of the side things here and you can go all the way in, or you can hold it and go all the way out. So depending on what size you want to make your table, that's how you can resize one of those tables. Now let's say we wanted to change this table number. In order to change a table number, you simply click on the table that you're looking to change, and over on the right hand side you will see table number 48. If we click here and hit this drop down, it's going to take us to a list of that tables that were in that table definition that we were previously in. From here, go ahead and pick the table you want to change the number to. So we want to make it table 283. Go ahead and hit 283, and now that changes that table to 283. Also, you have a couple different options here. Display print check icon. You can set this to true or false, depending on what you want the system set up as. But if you set it to true, what that means is that every time a receipt is printed for that particular table, it's going to put a little picture of a receipt printer on that actual table on the floor plan. So it lets everybody know that the receipt for that table has been printed already. Some people like to have that turned on, some people like to have it turned off, depending on what you want to use. You also can, on the right-hand side, you can mess around with the orientation. So the orientation size of the table. So if we go ahead and here and we just type in 50, and we hit enter, it's going to change kind of like how it makes it diagonal. And even when you change the orientation, you can still go around and make it larger or bigger depending on what you want to make it. So you can always type in a different orientation number there to play around with the shapes and sizes of the actual table. So that's done now. So let's say we wanted to add in a new table number. So we don't want to edit any of these tables here. We want to leave all these the same. We just want to add a new one in. So what you can do is just right click anywhere in the panel itself, not on a table or a button or a wall or anything like that, just an empty area. Right click and you're going to hit new button. It's going to bring up a little new button here. What you can do down here is
on the right. So we're going to go ahead and make this action. We're going to make
this action button, and we're going to switch this to be. If you want to create a table, sorry, you right click on the empty space in the panel and you hit new table. It's going to create your table here. It's automatically a default to table number 0. You just go here and you go over here on the properties, hit your drop down, go ahead and find out what table number you want to add. So let's say I'm going to add one of those new ones I created, 808. And I can change this how I want, so I'll make it a little bit bigger just by dragging it. And I'll enable display printed check. So now once you have everything to exactly how you want it to look again, what you need to do is just left click anywhere on an open space in the panel so it selects the entire panel again. and then go back to that same spot earlier and mark the template as true, and it will automatically mark the fixed panel position and fixed button layout to true as well. Then you're going to right click anywhere in the panel itself and hit Save Panel. That's going to go ahead and make that save to your panel there. And then you can right click anywheres, or you can go to File up top and hit Exit, and that's going to close out of that panel editor. From there, in order to get those changes to the terminal, you have to do a refresh data and let the terminals reload the POS software, or you have to wait until the end of day process, and then the next morning the terminals will have the updated floor plan image. I hope this was useful for all you guys, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.